Well, some in the legal fraternity are surprised by Judge Masipas' ruling on the dolus eventualis aspect of the murder charge in the Oscar Pistorius trial. And it rests on the judge deciding that he was not subjectively able to foresee the consequence of firing through the toilet door as the death of the person inside. Well, Kimona Canagan is an attorney with Lanham Love Attorneys, and she joins us in studio now. Good afternoon, Kim, and thank you for your time on the PM News Desk.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Well, many in and outside of the legal fraternity feeling that the verdict just doesn't match the seriousness of the crime, Kim. Do they have a point, do you think?
You know, Kirshni, I, like many other South Africans, spent my day listening to the news. And I've heard grumblings all day that culpable homicide, you know, in terms of public opinion, is a slap on the wrist. So, you know, I can understand, and I think the public is justified in feeling the way they are. You know, it's very easy for the legal fraternity to sort of understand the processes and to understand that we have recourse further to the judgment that was handed down today. But I suppose for the public it appears to just start here and stop here. So yes, I suppose it's just sort of public consensus that it is a lighter sentence than Oscar Pistorius deserved.
Well, this was indeed a very complex legal argument that exonerated Pistorius from the serious murder charge without premeditation. And it does rest on Judge Masipas' ruling when it comes to dolus eventualis. Now, it's a pivotal decision that will be poured over for many days to come. What do you make of it? Was there an error in law here or not?
You know, I'm reluctant to say that there was necessarily an error. You know, I think the judge did all that she can to sort of apply herself to the facts on hand. With that said, dolus eventualis, as many legal practitioners will concur, does leave some sort of room for sort of preparing a strong application for leave to appeal. And I suppose that lends itself favourably to the state when they do, and if they do in fact bring an application for leave to appeal. So yes, to try and answer you as best I can, I wouldn't necessarily deem it an error, but I think there is room for ambiguity in the judgment that was handed down in that respect.
This was a very high-profile case, Kim. We had the media watching, obviously. We had government watching, and justifiably so, because they're concerned with the reputation of the country. Then we had women rights campaigners weighing in, and we had a public with very strong views on what was a sporting icon. Some pressures that the judge would have ignored, and she did, I'm sure, but she did not make an example of Oscar Pistorius in this case. What sort of message or signal is the verdict today sending to the public at home and abroad?
Again, you know, I've heard grumblings about we've lost faith in the justice system, and the justice system has failed Riva. And I can only assume that these are messages, these domestic messages are what resonate abroad. I don't believe that this particular judgment would be sort of well received, either in terms of the domestic community or internationally. But again, I have to reiterate the fact that we do have processes in terms of the system. You know, we can always appeal it, and I mean, first prize would be to sort of finalize the matter now and get it right. As I've heard somebody say earlier on today, can't you guys get it right first time round? Again, you know, the burden of proof on the state is quite onerous in that they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And these matters have a way of sort of dragging itself out and lasting 2 to 3 years. And then it goes on appeal and lasts a longer period of time than that. So I suppose that the message is not most favourable, either in terms of locally or internationally, but I have hope that we can try and do some sort of reparation.
Do you think the state will go this route, Kim, and go through with an appeal to an higher court?
I would hope so, Kirshni. I would really hope so. I think the state prosecutor is quite. I think he's on top of his game. He's done a stellar job thus far. I mean, we've all had shortcomings, himself included, as did the defence counsel. And you know, I think that would be first port of call. I think that's something the state would look at, and I've heard it mentioned during the course of the day.
Thank you, Kim, for your time on the PM News Desk. Kimona Canagan is an attorney with Lanham Love Attorneys.